For the past 30 years, the internet has had a cookie monster. And no, not the iconic Sesame Street character. The little piece of code attached to internet browsers turned into something big, to the tune of billions of dollars of ad revenue. After being created with simple intentions, cookies became the dominant way of tracking consumers across the web, sparking a conversation about the relationship between digital advertising and data. Digital advertising has evolved into a massively complex system that needs new solutions. And with 2024 primed to be a big year for data privacy, advertising is at a crossroads altogether, as it could be the year the cookie finally crumbles. Back in 1994, before computers were part of most people's homes, Netscape created cookies as a way of saving information in your browser for every website you visited. It wasn't long before cookies started being used for advertising purposes. And as the internet became a bigger part of our daily lives, more and more information was being collected about our habits in the late 2000s. Add in the smartphones everyone would be carrying soon, and the data deluge was on its way. More than just the websites we looked at, consumer data was passed on or sold to other websites, a third party, hence third-party cookies. Using all this information, advertisers got a better sense of a user's internet trail, from their tastes to their movements and interactions. This only intensified as social media platforms started to flourish, with droves of people voluntarily sharing information in exchange for the ability to connect with their social circle. Facebook, Google, and Amazon have turned this massive amount of consumer data into major money-making machines by offering advertisers the chance to show their products to a hyper-specific audience within their ecosystems. And beyond the big tech walled gardens, advertisers, especially those without their own first-party data, were keen to use third-party cookies to serve ads to potential audiences. Buying and selling things on the internet led to more digital ads and the growth of the web altogether. Those dynamics lead us to regulation. After governments across the world weren't able to keep up with the speed of the digital age, the European Union stepped in. GDPR, or General Data Protection Regulation, passed in 2016, becoming the most sweeping set of privacy laws since the creation of the internet, and ushered in a new era of regulation. Thanks to this legislation, everyone using the internet became familiar with the pop-up cookie consent window, the intent being to let people own their personal information, have the legal right to control it, and decide who can use it. And there were potential consequences for companies who didn't follow the rules. In fact, in the first 5 years of the new measures, over 2.5 billion euros in fines were imposed. GDPR was actually formally implemented in 2018, the same year as the Cambridge Analytica scandal, which blew the doors off the conversation about consumer data privacy. Personal data of 87 million Facebook users was collected without consent by the research company. That data in turn was used in the 2016 US presidential election by the Trump campaign. Facebook was fined $5 billion by the Federal Trade Commission, a record payment for any company violating consumers' privacy. In the wake of the controversy, CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified before Congress, leading to this dramatic moment with Senator Dick Durbin.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
I think that might be what this is all about. Your right to privacy, the limits of your right to privacy, and how much you give away in modern America in the name of, quote, connecting people around the world.
The situation sparked a public conversation about online data and magnified the importance of user consent and authentication. Apple and Mozilla banned third-party cookies on their browsers. And these measures extended to our phones too. Apple introduced its Do Not Track feature in 2021, allowing iPhone users to opt out of being digitally tracked. This move had drastic consequences, with Meta's CFO saying on an earnings call that he believed that the Do Not Track feature cost the company around $10 billion in 2022. Google had plans to fully phase out third-party cookies by the end of 2024, but delayed them for the third time since 2020. The tech giant says it envisions picking up the removal process in early 2025. With Google controlling around 60% of browser traffic, removing cookies on Chrome could be the next big domino. Still, some new privacy-conscious solutions are being built from the ground up to help benefit the digital advertising ecosystem. Steps have been taken with respect to legislation too. California's Consumer Privacy Act, which was modeled in part after GDPR, was among the earliest and most robust privacy laws in the US in 2018. Since then, 15 more states have adopted similar measures. And while there's no one privacy solution to rule them all, quality first-party data is paramount to a cookieless future. Authenticating that data is another crucial step to helping make sure it's relevant, addressable, and measurable. Important concepts that marketers generally obsess about. With emerging alternative identifiers like Unified ID 2.0 from the Trade Desk, LiveRamp's Ramp ID, and ID5, there is plenty to dig into. But it's important to see these paths as more than just replacements for cookies. They could actually be much better than cookies. Research from ID5 found advertisers were willing to pay 406% higher for an impression when there was an ID attached to it. Plus, the amount of advertisers bidding to get that impression jumped over 1,000%. And for publishers too, this shift could be good news. Snopes, the fact-checking website, saw a 200% increase in CPMs when testing Unified ID 2.0 over ads with cookies. This extra revenue will likely give an extra lift to help them continue funding their journalism. That's a fact they're probably happy to check again. A post-cookie world could ultimately be better all around, for readers, advertisers, and publishers, both from a privacy and user perspective. The internet looks a lot different when cookies were created in 1994, and the ways people spend time online, from streaming their favorite show, podcast, or music, to playing games or using apps on their phone, don't even use cookies. Cookies had a long run, but it's time for them to finally crumble.